תהילת אדוני דבר בי ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד, ואנחנו נברך יה כבד עולם, הללויה.
Everybody please stand for Chatzi Kaddish on page 2. Amen.
על דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ויומי חול, ובאחד יכול בית ישראל, בעגליו זמן קריב, אמרו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שמר רבם ברך לעולם מעלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל שמי קודשה, בריחו. ליל המין כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Chazan Frida will begin on page 3. We'll join on page 4 and then continue quietly.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לאברהם ליצחק ולאלוהי יעקב, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים מקונה הכל, וזוכר חסי אבות, ומביא גואל לבני ונהל למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר מושיע מגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם.
אמן.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מלחמת אימת הרב להושיע, משיב על רוחו מוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיים מתים רחמים רבים, סומך טובים ולופך חולים מתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית וחי מצמיח ישועה ונמלת לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני בן חיי המתים.
נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים
נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו,
לעומתם ברוך יאמרו
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו,
ולדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור
ימלוך אדוני לעולם מלך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם מלך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ונצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Amen. For the silent Amidah, we go back to the beginning, 3a or 3b through page 9, including the prayer Ya'aleh V'Yavo, since today is Rosh Chodesh.
לצדיקים ולחסידים.
We continue on page 10.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
יעלמה דברה אחרותי ואמליך ברכותי בחייכון ויומכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל בהגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן.
Amen. יהי שמרה מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה.
שמי רבה מברך לעולם עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו. אל המין כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה נמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
יתקבל צלות הון נבואות הנכון ישראל קודם אבנו ישמעיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמעיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. עלינו, page 11.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל לתת גדולה ליוצר
יוצר בראשית
ולא
שלא עשה נקנגויי הרצות
ולא שם
שמן כמשפחות אדמה
ולא
שם חלקנו להם
וגוררנו ככל
המונם ואנחנו קוראים
ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש
ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים.
נוטה שמיים וזה מבינת זוג גבוהים מודים ולנו. על כן קבל חדנה אלוהים לגמון. עוד שמחה, לא יכולים, עוד שמחה. כתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Mourner's Kaddish on page 12. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei rabah ve'alma divra kirutei ve'yamlich machutei ve'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael va'agala u'vizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabah mevarach le'alam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yithalal shemei dekudsha berichu le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata ve'nechemata ta'amiran ve'alma ve'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
Amen.
Aseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Everybody, please be seated. I understand that more people are trying to get on to this call, and we're trying to expand the number of people that can join. So we are working on that, and we certainly do apologize to everyone if for this inconvenience. We're going to hopefully be able to address that as soon as we possibly can. So we're going to share some prayers and some reflections. Of course, we were unable to all be together in the same physical space to be able to offer these reflections until now, as we otherwise would have been. And so we just want to have the opportunity to be able to reflect on Ronnie's life. It was an extraordinary life. She touched so many of us and had such a wide and deep connection to so many of us within our congregational family and beyond our congregational family. So we're going to begin. Chazan Frieder is going to chant Eshet Chayil, which is taken from the Proverbs, and then Rabbi Roth will recite a portion in the English.
אשת חיל מי ימצא ורחוק מפנינים מכרה בטח בך לב בעלה, ושלל לא יחסר, מלאת הוא טוב ולא רע, כל ימי חייה, דרשת צמר ופשתים, ותעש בחפץ כפיה, סעתי נשאתה ותמכור, וחגור נתנה לכנעני, עוז והדר לבושה, ותשחק ליום האחרון, פיה פתחה בחוכמה, ותורת חסד על לשונה, סופיה הליכות ביתה, ורחם עצלות לא תאכל. כמובן ויאשרוה, בעלה ויהללה, רבות בנות עשו חיל, ואת עלית על כולנה, שקר החן והבל היופי, אישה יראת אדוני תתהלל, תנו לה מפרי ידיה, ויהללוה בשערים מעשיה.
Psalm 23, Mizmor LeDavid. Adonai ro'i lo echzar, v'nahot deshe yarbitzeni al mei menuchot yanahaleni. Nafshi yeshovev yancheni b'magle tzedek lema'an shemo. Gam ki elech b'geitzal mavet, lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Shivtecha umishantecha hema yanachmuni. Ta'aroch lefanai shulchan neged sorarai, dishanta v'shemen roshi kosi rivaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdafuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti v'beit Adonai le'orech yamim. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God gives me repose in green meadows and guides me over calm waters. God will revive my spirit and direct me on the right path, for that is God's way. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are at my side. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever.
I want to wish Yishar Koach Chazak Uvaruch to Chazan Frieder and to Rabbi Roth for chanting the 23rd Psalm. And I'm also just going to give just a small flavor of the beautiful Eshet Chayil, the passage from the Proverbs that Cancer Frieder chanted for us. The woman of valor, a priceless find, a treasure more precious than pearls, an unfailing support to her family, eager, energetic, and strong, Her family knows that she will always be near. Many women have excelled, but you surpass them all, and all of your actions bring honor. I'm now honored to call upon Rabbi Chari, who is going to read a psalm and share a reflection about Ronnie.
Shir Lama'alot, Esayna. Shomracha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeitcha uvoecha me'ata v'yad olam. I turn my eyes to the mountains, from whence will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. Adonai will not let your foot give way, your guardian will not slumber. The guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your protection, the guardian at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm and guard your life. Adonai guards your going and coming, now and forever. I've had the privilege of knowing Ronnie over many years while I was serving in various capacities at Temple Israel. And there are two things that stand out about my recollections as I've been thinking these last few days. And one has to do with the fact that for many, many years, she was leading the Tat Shabbat service on Shabbat. And I had occasion to be wherever it was that she was conducting her service, whether it was down in the school building or up in the Blue Room or wherever. And I was always thrilled to see how she related so well to the children and they related to her. And she would say something to them and it was, Mora Ronnie, yes this, yes that, yes, Mora Ronnie. And outside they referred to her. If you said that this is something that Ronnie Katz did with the kids and one of the kids was there, they said, oh yes, we know Mora Ronnie. It was wonderful to see the interaction, to see how well she related to the children, how well they related to her. And the other situation in which I had a relationship to Ronnie had to do with the fact that my wife Paula and I were both designated as proofreaders for The Voice, the bi-weekly newsletter of Temple Israel. And in that respect, I would like to just share a personal thought. And that is that Paula and I spent several summers at Camp Ramah in the position of coordinator of activities. But we couldn't both be in camp for the whole summer. So for the first month, I would be in camp and Paula would come up on weekends. And for the second month, Paula would be in camp and I would come up on weekends. So we thought it was a lot of fun sharing that job. And we learned over the course of years from a number of campers and even staff people that they considered us as one person. It was the Paula Maram combination. It didn't matter who was there, who was not there. It was just the same as you're talking to one, you're talking to the other. I mention that only because that's the way I had a feeling about Ronnie and Mark and how they handled the business and how they handled in particular the Temple Israel Voice. Because we would get the proofs of the Temple Israel Voice and check them over, and then we would call the office, and it didn't matter who answered the phone. Ronnie answered, Mark answered, yes, Maram, yes, Paula, what do you want to tell us? And talking to one was like talking to the other. I found that a wonderful experience, and that is something that I will remember for a long time, because I haven't encountered many situations where two people working together were so much in tune with each other. I remember all these things about Ronnie. I will miss her. I will miss her in the synagogue. I will miss her voice on the phone. But I will remember. I will always remember her. Yehebrat nishmatav trura b'shror hachayim. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. And may God be good to her. Yehi zichra baruch. May her memory be for all of us a blessing.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Chari. Rabbi Schweber is going to share a thought and a reflection in Ronnie's memory.
In a moment, I want to. I won't sing, but please have the tune of Billy Joel's Piano Man in your head. 11 o'clock on a Saturday, and the regular crowd shuffles in, some chewing on their binkies and others eating Cheerios. But when Ronnie comes in, you know they are complete with the Shabbat feeling from their head to their toes. The scene I described is one that Ronnie created for over 30 years as she led Temple Israel's Tat Shabbat service. There's a lot of empirical research that the Jewish memories imprinted on very young children last a lifetime. With their smile and songs and stories, Ronnie has touched thousands of children. And more recently, she got to be with the children of people she also had in Tat Shabbat way back when. Often when I walked into Tat Shabbat to say hello, first I had to learn how to say the hello song, but Ronnie would also be singing Eitz Chaim. Eitz Chaim hi l'machazikim ba. It is a tree of life to those who hold on to it. The phrase epitomizes Ronnie, who held on to life so strongly and firmly that she kept beating the odds. It also reflects how many trees of Torah she helped cultivating and infusing children and families with love and the joy of Judaism and Torah. Ronnie may no longer be physically here, but the legacy, the orchard of trees of Torah and Judaism she leaves behind is vast. As today's children grow, and as we continue our Tat Shabbat service in Ronnie's memory and legacy, she will live in our hearts. Yehi zichra baruch.
Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Schweber. We're going to hear now from members of the Katz family, from Ronnie's brothers and their spouses, and from her children and from Mark. So first, I'm going to call upon Ronnie's brother Howard and his wife Judy, and then we'll hear from Ronnie's brother Joseph and his wife Michelle, starting with Howard.
Unmute him. Give me 1 minute.
Am I muted?
Yes, you are.
My wife Judy is going to share this tribute to my sister Ronnie with me. For 5.5 years, my baby sister Ronnie put up a courageous fight battling ovarian cancer. Within that time, she fought back with chemo and was involved in 5 separate drug trials, some of which worked for a while, but unfortunately, no permanent solution could be found for the scourge. But each time she rallied and valiantly looked forward, always responding to our question, "How are you doing, Ron?" with, "I'm fine, I'm okay, how are you? How are your kids and your grandchildren?" She never got tired of hearing our stories.
I met Ronnie when she was 4 years old, a beautiful, blonde-haired, blue-eyed doll, sweet and loving. Howie and I used to babysit for her and our brother Joe when my in-laws went out. And then a week before her 7th birthday, Ronnie was the flower girl at our wedding. I had a 7-year-old sister-in-law. At 10, she became an aunt to our son. And as a teenager, she was a very favorite babysitter to our children. As many of you know, for over 30 years, Ronnie led the Torah for Tots program at Temple Israel. Moira Ronnie was a magnet for children of all ages, and all adored her.
For her entire life, Ronnie was a remarkably warm, loving, and caring person. Never putting herself first. It was always, what can I do for you? Never, what can you do for me? A light has gone out in our lives, and we have a hole in our hearts after our loss. We believe that Ronnie's soul has arrived at a special place, joining the souls of the people that she had always loved, welcoming her and taking care of her. Ron, we miss you and love you. May you rest in peace.
Shakoach, thank you. Thank you both. Joe and Michelle.
I know we all have a special connection to Ronnie because that was one of her many qualities. She made everyone feel that your link to her was so important and special, and there wasn't a bit of disingenuousness to that. For me, the most important connection, and it's something Ronnie and I spoke about any number of times, is the fact that we were the product of the astonishing courage of our mother, who endured 5 near full-term pregnancies and miscarriages before she gave birth to me and then Ronnie. We heard how our mom's obstetrician tried to convince her of the futility of continuing to try, but she knew that she wanted to grow her family, and she would endure any pain or disappointment to make it happen. And for Ronnie and me, although we surely loved both our parents, we were always in awe of the strength and love that guided everything our mom did. I'm sure you see the connection I'm driving at. Just recently, I was thinking about how over the past 5.5 years, whenever any of us said a Mishaberach for Ronnie, we would say Reza Lisa Bat Rochel, Ronnie Lynn, daughter of Rose. Yes, Ronnie was a woman of valor, but more importantly, she was a daughter of Rose, the personification of courage, grace, and love. It was in some ways a gift to be able to remember that every week.
I think our kids describe well what Ronnie meant to all of us. There was no one like her, and no one will ever be. She was the goodest, gentlest, kindest, and at the same time fiercest person we know. They started calling her Aunt Butter, trying to capture how truly special she was. Soft, sweet, kind, incredibly thoughtful, with a unique way to make everyone feel valued. For the last 5 years, every time we spoke with Ronnie, we told her we loved her, knowing that this day would eventually come, and we were grateful for every moment we had and wanted her to know it.
I mentioned to Howie at the funeral service how tragically fitting that of the 3 of us, she's the first one to join our mom and dad. We know their spirits are indescribably sad that we're deprived of Ronnie's presence, and at the same time, how grateful they must be to have their Ronnie with them again.
Thank you, Yishar Koach. Thank you both. So now we're going to hear from Mark, Amy, and Jake in whatever order the 3 of you would like to speak.
Mom was a tiny person in stature, but a giant-sized warrior in heart and strength. Mom always put me, Amy, and Dad first, as our protector, our advocate. Mom gave her all to everyone around her and sacrificed so much for her family. Mom was the most selfless and caring person I may ever know. When I think about Mom, there are many words that encapsulate her, but 3 jump to the top of the list: warmth, determination, and love. There was nothing more important to Mom than ensuring our family remained close, even after Amy and I grew older, moved out, and had families of our own. Mom immediately accepted and treated Amanda as her own daughter and John as her own son, welcoming Amanda and John with open arms and her natural warmth. With Mom's constant love and affection, our family grew in both size and closeness. As Amy said one night recently in the hospital, Mom was our glue, and it is all her love shared and lessons taught that will keep us together now. Mom would never let the cancer define her, and never, ever express the true pain or discomfort she was experiencing. Mom fought and fought and fought, determined to do whatever was needed to beat this disease, get better, and celebrate more Simchas with her family and friends. Mom deserved a life surrounded by loved ones, filled with health and happiness, celebrating joyous occasions, and just spending time together as a family. While 67 years just doesn't seem like enough, I am so grateful for her fight and every extra year, month, week, and day it gave us together. Time is the most precious thing, and I will cherish all the time I had with her. I will never forget the soothing way it felt when Mom would scratch my hands when I was a young child upon a nightly request before bed, top and bottom, 5 times each. I will always remember the tight squeeze of my hand as Mom walked me down the aisle. I will always remember Mom's gentle and comforting hug as we danced at our wedding. I will never forget the pure joy in Mom's eyes when she met Miles for the first time, and every time she held our sweet boy. I will never forget the warm touch of holding Mom's hand in her final moments on this earth. And I will always hold Mom's love in my heart forever. Amanda will be speaking next, and she's on a separate video.
Okay.
Hi. For those I do not know, I'm Amanda, Jake's wife, so only lucky enough to be related to Ronnie by way of marriage. The truth, though, is Ronnie loved me like a daughter. I know not only because she told me so, but because she showed me so. She supported and nurtured me, celebrating during my highs and encouraging me during my lows. She gave me space to be my own person, to make different choices than she may have. During frequent hospital visits over these past few months, Ronnie repeatedly said she loved us 4 kids with all of her heart. And as you know, Ronnie's heart was bigger than most. I will miss Mom's annual Blintz and Hamantaschen deliveries, comprised of multiple flavors always. Her gift wrapping precision, which included no less than 6 colors of ribbon curled to perfection. Her greeting all the grandkids with a hi cutie pie. But most of all, I will miss her hugs and kisses. The way she would draw you in with her entire body and cup your face with her hands, looking you in the eye when she said, I love you. Over the past 5.5 years, there has been sickness, stress, and exhaustion. But there has also been resilience and joy. Amy and John relocated from DC to New York. Jake and I were married. 3 grandchildren were born, Violet, Michaela, and Miles. She was able to meet them, hold them, and kiss them, knit them hats and sweaters and blankets. She was able to watch her kids build families of their own. Ronnie started re-experiencing severe physical discomfort a few days after Miles was born. He was just 1 month at the time of her last surgery. Part of me knows she willed the sickness away as long as possible so that she could meet Miles, her son's son. I will always be grateful to her determination and grit because it meant she got to hold Miles in the hospital, feed him a bottle on our couch, bless him during his bris, and delight in knowing he was named for her beloved father, Milton. I am forever grateful to Ronnie for molding Jake into the amazing person he is. All of her goodness is in Jake and Amy. They are simply the best of the best. I will honor Ronnie by trying to exemplify her warmth, dedication to family, and selflessness. I will tell my son how Grammy Ronnie was simultaneously the most gentle and strongest person I've ever known. She was a bright light, a fighter and survivor, and most of all, a loving champion of her family till the very end.
Thank you. Okay, Amy? Who is?
Mom, yes, I'm going.
Amy, go ahead.
Yeah. Mom majored in math in college, which always struck me as funny concentration for her. I knew her as the master of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and adoring her coffee cup bathrobe, not as a mathematician. She, though, had intended to use the degree to become a math teacher. Although she was never a formal classroom teacher, she was still teaching us and everyone around her every day. Mom taught me more life lessons than I could possibly enumerate here. Suffice it to say that nearly everywhere I look, I'm reminded of one. In the end, she never pursued teaching because the job she said she really always wanted was just to be a mommy. Family was her everything. Family was everything she wanted and everything she lived for. It was what inspired her to keep going when things were hard, especially in the last 5 years. She learned that from her parents, and that is one of the most valuable of her lessons. She showed it by always prioritizing Jacob and me, by embracing John and Amanda as her own children, insisting that they call her mom, by giving us all the freedom to pursue whatever college, career, or life path we wished, and to inspire us to follow our dreams without limit. How lucky am I to have known that kind of boundless support. Although the job she first wanted was to be a mommy, the job she loved equally as much was to be a grandma. I will never forget how she embraced me after she laid eyes on Violet for the first time. And when she learned that Violet was named in memory of her mother, Violet Rosalie was named in memory of her mother, Rose. To have a new baby girl to continue a line of incredible women. Violet was her sweet Violet, SV. I smile thinking about the special relationship they had, and my heart breaks to know that Violet will never know her as an adult, as I was so fortunate to have with my own grandparents. Over the last 5 years, and especially in the last few days, Jacob and I have been grateful to hear so many people commend us on how involved we were in Mom's medical care. It's true that it was a tremendous upheaval in our lives, but we didn't do it out of obligation or for any sort of credit. We just did it because that was the challenge we were facing, because her challenge was our challenge. We did it because we saw Mom do the same for her parents, supporting them until their final days in countless ways, big and small, and how she lived the commandment to honor your father and mother, and because she deserved the same. I'm doing my best to hold on to so many meaningful life moments that happened in the time since she was diagnosed. She saw John and me transition from Washington, D.C. and settle in New York, and came to love our New York community as much as we do, befriending our building doormen and navigating the 7 train. She saw Violet and Michaela born and celebrated birthdays and holidays and first words and pushing them in park swings and felt them fall asleep in her arms. She saw Jake and Amanda married and become parents to Miles, to hold her son's son and to see Miles inherit Jacob's chunky baby legs. But more importantly, to see us each establish our own families. She was able to live her life as she wished, mostly unencumbered by her disease and determined to live her life irreverent to it. She showed us unimaginable strength. She endured unimaginable physical and emotional pain. And she brought my already close family even closer as we tackled this challenge together with her and for her. She only wanted more of her full and happy life. It breaks my heart that it was robbed from her, but my heart is full knowing that hers was full as well to her final days. Can you please take her? Sometime in my teens, I gave mom a small art piece that I had gotten from a Great Neck Crafts Fair that said, "If I didn't have you for a mother, I'd have you for a friend." At the time, friendship to me was hours on pointless phone calls and walking up and down Middle Neck Road. And I gave her the piece knowing that she would love it, which she did, but not really understanding what it would mean to be lucky enough to have your mom as a friend. That it means having someone who saw the world from your point of view, who shaped your point of view, someone who would listen to the most mundane stories and descriptions with great interest and appreciation, someone who felt every celebration and every heartbreak as if it were her own, who walked alongside every step of life, and who shared every wish and every disappointment. My mom was simply always by my side. There's nothing else to say, except that I can't believe she's not here anymore. by my side as my friend. And I can see now how that small artwork from decades ago is true. I had you, I have you, both as a mother and a friend, and I will always. John and I are going to switch parenting duty for a second, and he's going to come over, and I'm going to take Michaela.
One of my earliest memories of Ronnie was when I first visited Amy in New York when we started dating in college. I would drive her bus in from Baltimore, arriving late on a Friday night, and probably stop for dinner at a rest stop along the way. But when I arrived weary-eyed and ready to go to bed at, say, 10 or 11, before the door got halfway open, Ronnie would greet me with a warm hug and ask me if I was hungry. I had no choice but to say yes, because she had prepared a multi-course Shabbat meal of pot roast or baked chicken, noodle pudding, veggie sides, and multiple desserts that were all fresh out of the oven. But of course, no onions, because she knew that I didn't like them. No matter what the occasion, the time of day, or how much effort was involved, Ronnie always put others first. And she made sure we were well fed, be it a Shabbat meal, an overflowing amount of homemade hamantashen or blintzes, a last-minute Thanksgiving potluck, or packs of Oreos left over from top Shabbat. 12 years ago, I invited Ronnie and Mark to dinner in Manhattan to ask for permission to propose to Amy. It's debatable whether I actually asked for permission, but one thing is certain. Ronnie requested that I call her mom and Mark dad, a beautiful Zweig and Katz family tradition. Even before that day, they warmly welcomed me into the family and always treated me as their son. Although I've had the privilege of being mom's son alongside her other children, Amy, Jake, and Amanda, everyone who has known mom is so lucky to be part of her extended family. She cared so much about everyone in her social circles, her family members, friends of her children and grandchildren, countless friends and clergy from Temple Israel and the Great Neck community, and the 30+ years of alumni and parents from mom's top Shabbat class that you heard about earlier. She even developed close relationships with teachers at our kids' daycare and the doormen at our apartment. Mom selflessly put others first with care, empathy, love, positive support, and encouragement. She thrived on seeing each of us grow and succeed. And on a personal level, for me, she was always eager to talk about my achievements at work and new job prospects as I grew professionally. She took great pride when I shared successful milestones and discovered new opportunities for growth. Despite mom's illness, the last 5.5 years have been a celebration of life and family. Blessed with 3 grandchildren, she was determined to be as active as a grandmother as one could be, with adoration for her sweetie pies and cutie pies, Violet, Michaela, and Miles. On her best days, as Amy mentioned, she would commute from Great Neck to Long Island City on the Long Island Railroad and 7 trains, followed by a brisk walk to our apartment. She would reliably bring a gift, activity, book, new outfit, or a special treat for Violet, and she loved to play on the playground and celebrate birthday parties. But my favorite moments together were when Mom and I looked at each other with a smile and laugh that we kept to ourselves after Violet said the most clever, funny things, even if in the middle of a toddler negotiation. At times, it was as if we were the only ones who heard what was said, embracing the humor and the youthful joy of the moment. I'm grateful that we had the opportunity as a family to experience Mom's top Shabbat class and to see her love for children and Judaism converge in a leadership role. I can vividly hear Mom using the full power of her voice to lead the class, knowing all of the children's names and singing, "Put the chicken in the pot, stir it up nice and hot," or "The Shabbat candles are flickering, flickering, flickering." Both songs which Violet sings regularly today. Although we are all devastated by the loss of Mom, let's each hold on to all that we embrace about her and reflect upon the good that she brought to the world. She went all in everything she pursued, with a love for family, children, community, and Judaism. And she strived her best to selflessly support her extended family and friends. At the end of every visit at Mom and Dad's home, they would wait in the doorway, watching over us and waving until after we pulled away. Goodbyes were never brief and never easy. Although this is a time to remember Mom's legacy, and we've said our final goodbyes, I know she will continue looking after each of us with a smile.
About 45 years ago, someone briefly came into my life and said, "Have I got a girl for you?" She also briefly came into Ronnie's life and said, "I have someone for you to meet." Well, we had our blind date and then never saw that person again. I believe, Rabbi, the word for that is Yeshua. We hit it off right away, and we became inseparable. I promised Ronnie that sometime back during 1976, we would become engaged. And on December 31st of that year, on her parents' couch, we did. We formed a partnership that lasted 42 years. A partnership in marriage, in business, in Judaism, in family. And as you can see, a partnership that produced the two absolutely unbelievable children who have made us so very proud every single day. It made our hearts swell with pride to see the way they now lead their own lives with their own partners in life. Since her diagnosis, Amy and Jake and their life partners, John and Amanda, have dedicated their lives to their mother and her care in countless astonishing ways. We were all with her every step of the way, and they were with her every step of the way for every doctor's visit, every treatment, every family huddle on what to do next. Of all of the values she held dear, it was always family that came first. I don't think she realized it, but this trial we all went through brought our family even closer together. In all the ways we've received, in all the calls we've received over the past few days, the one constant most often mentioned was our children, our close family, and how we all rallied for Ronnie's care. As strange as it might seem, I wasn't prepared for this. You would think, considering that Ronnie was first diagnosed with cancer almost 6 years ago, that I would know that this day was inevitable. But that wasn't Ronnie. She was determined that she was going to beat this, put it in her past, and get on with life, and get on with living. And in a way, she did. During these years of treatment, she saw Amanda and Jake's love for each other bloom. She and the family were part of their surprise engagement. She saw them get married in a grand celebration. And she saw 3 of the very best grandchildren born. She also led as close to a normal life as possible, which included going to work each day along with me, conducting her beloved Tat Shabbat, taking care of the household, of the family, and of herself. She endured major surgery, 6 lines of treatment, participation in 4 clinical trials. She fought back from numerous close scrapes, bouncing back each time and going on with life. Each time, the crisis was averted and she went on. And so when Ronnie was hospitalized on Christmas Eve, we knew it was very serious. But somehow, I thought we would get past this crisis too and go on from here. Now I'm left to think about all the happy times we had together. A comment said to me earlier today sums it up perfectly. Remember not what she died from, but what she lived for.
So I just want to say Yisher Koach, Hazaku Baruch, to wish strength to everybody who spoke, and of course to those who did not speak. This is, for all of us, very sad, and the loss is very palpable. There's so many memories that I have of Ronnie, and I just want to share one. So for the naming of her granddaughter, Ronnie said, I know that we've changed the location of the bima in the sanctuary, but I want to have the naming in the same place where I had the naming of Amy. I want it to be up right near the ark. And we had a conversation, and I said, Ronnie, we'll walk you through it, and you'll see it's the sanctuary. It's going to feel right and beautiful and holy. And we did the naming in the center where the bima now is. And then afterwards, I looked at Ronnie, and those of us who know Ronnie, we know that she doesn't hide her emotions very well. So you can tell when she's very happy, and you can tell if there's something that's missing. So I said, would you like to go up onto the high bima near the ark, and we'll say an extra blessing? And she said, sure. So we went up together, and we had that additional blessing. Ronnie is somebody who, amongst so many other virtues, she values doing things the way that she believes that they should be done. And there's actually a sense in Judaism that the place matters. We talk about a place that is the place that you like to sit, your makom kavua. We talk about the place extending a certain virtue, a certain atmosphere to the people. But there's a beautiful Jewish expression that says that even more than the place brings honor to a person brings honor to a place. Ha'adam mechabed et hamakom. And in Ronnie's memory and in her honor, I just want to reflect that she brought so much honor to different places, to different realms. And one could go on, but I'll just speak of a few. Certainly to the community at large, the leadership that she brought to Hadassah and other organizations. She did that with such integrity and with such hard work. She brought so much kavod to that space. She brought, as we heard, kavod to the Tat Shabbat room. It was so much fun to watch her heart embrace these children as she sang about the Shabbat feeling down in my toes and all over me. And these children felt that beautiful enthusiasm. And that was a place to which she brought great honor. And she brought incredible kavod to her family. The way that she imparted wisdom to them and showed them what it means to love a person with all of your heart and all of your soul. And one cannot say enough about the extraordinary children that she and Mark raised, and about the beautiful shutafut, the partnership that she had with Mark. She brought incredible kavod to her family. And she did it because of her integrity, because of her insistence on doing everything right, on believing that what matters most are the intentions that you bring to a situation and to a person. And she has such a good neshama, such a good soul, a pure soul. Her intentions were always, always, always absolutely the best intentions and absolutely pure. She brought so much kavod to every place that was graced with her presence. So the last thing that I want to say at this time, as we know, the word hamakom has a double resonance. It also refers to our Creator who is in every place. And I just want to say, be'emunah shalima, with complete faith, that by virtue of the way that she lived her life, that Ronnie brought tremendous kavod to her Creator. And that the way that she lived her life is an absolute inspiration, something of which I'm sure her Creator is proud. And I know that all of us who know her are proud that we have known her. So I say to her beautiful family, I hope, I pray, I'm confident that Ronnie will now continue to bring honor to the spaces that are your spaces, to your hearts, to your souls, to your families. Yehi zichra baruch. May her memory and her legacy always, always be a source of blessing. Amen. In a moment, we'll begin the Mariv service, but before we do, Chazan Frieder is going to chant the memorial prayer, El Malei Rachamim. And I invite you, if you are able, to stand as Chazan Frieder chants this prayer in Ronnie's honor and in her memory.
El Malei Rachamim, Shocheina b'meromim, Hametzeh menucha nechona, Tachat kanfei hashechim, B'mahalot kedoshim utehorim, Kezohar rakia maziri. Lenishmat Aisha Marat Reza Lisa Bat Mordechai Berochel Shalcha Lolama Began Eden Temenuchata Anna Balarachamim Astireha Beseter Kenafecha Le'olamim Utzeror Bitzror HaChayim את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר
Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, we ask you to grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Ronnie Katz, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful one, we ask that she find perfect peace in your tender embrace. May her memory endure as a lasting legacy for us. May her soul be bound up in the bonds of life. May she rest in peace. Together we say, Amen.
Amen.
We turn now to page 281 for the Ma'arif service.
Thank you, Dan.
והוא רחום יכפר ולא ישחית וירבה להשיבה פה ולא יאיר כל חמתו. אדוני הושיע מלך יעננו ויום קוראנו. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
You may be seated.
ברוך אתה אדוני בכל המשוב מעריבה ובחוכמה בדרך של בני גנצה.
היום בלילה כל המפורש
אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המריב הרבים.
אמן.
ים חיינו ואורך ימינו והמנהגי יומם בלילה.
ים חיינו ואורך ימינו ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
אמן.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. והים שבת ישמע את
ושבת עיניך ותנתי עצם. איש מלחם בנותו.
ואדם עליו למדתם עשרתם ועליו לכם אפשר לקשרת אותם לכם ולצפת מכם.
למען יבואי מחמם.
נחמתי לך שחרות מכם. למען יבואי מחמם לכם ממש נשבע נבט. היום אל אדוני מה שלמד אל בני סמת המספנית ציציתה כפית.
לכם מסיצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם מקום.
יזכרו ועשיתם כל זייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני לכם. אשר הוצאתי אתכם ארץ יצאן יד לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמונה כזו יקבל אלוהינו ולזאת ונפני סלמת נלחם הקרבים.
Page 283.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלה אליהם משה ובני סלחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה מלכותך ובניך בו קיים לפני משה זהירינו ואמרו אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד.
נאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק
נאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
אמן. השכיבנו
אדוני אלוהינו שלום על גמל
ועשה שטן מפנינו.
Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your counsel, with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy.
ושמור את צאתנו בינו לכם שלום אתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני שומר עמו ישראל לעם.
We rise for mourners for Ati Kaddish 285.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. והלמה דברה חירותי ומניח באחותה בחייכון ומימיכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל בהגלב זמן קריב אמרו אמן.
אמן. יהי שמרם ברך לעולם עולמי
יהי שמרם ברך לעולם עולמי יתברך תשתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. ואלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דם ירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
The Amin does recite privately pages 286A or B to 291.
עושה שלום במרמיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ולכל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
294.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה.
אמן.
ועל דברי חירותי והמליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל בהגלב זמן קריב אמרו אמן.
אמן. יהי שמי רב המבורך לעולם
עולמי יתברך תשתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. ואלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דם ירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
תתקבע צלותון ובאותו לכל ישראל קודם ובון ושמיה ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
עושה שלום אם לומר והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Before we do Aleinu, it's going to let you know that after Aleinu, we will unmute everybody so we can say the Kaddish together. So if you have music in the background or anything, make sure to turn it off. 297.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגוררנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שונה לשמיים יצא רצון שגו, שמיים אשנת סוף גורים מומים. על כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו עוד מעט. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Corners Kaddish 298. Yitzgadal, Yitzgadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amad Dibra, Vayechon,
Israel.
בזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
Shmei Rabbah Barak, Shabbat,
הלב יסלח שמי קדושת
אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה
ושירתה
ונחמתה
זכתה ונחמתה אמירן ויעלמה היי רבה משמיה עלינו ועל כל ישראל וירושלים ושלום במרומה שלום עלינו ועל
And Shekach to Chazan Frieder for leading us. And we say to the entire Katz family, Amakom Yenachem Elchem Betoch Shar of Leitzion Yerushalayim. May God comfort you as God comfort those who mourn for Zion and Jerusalem. Thank you all. Tomorrow morning, 7:30, and tomorrow evening, as we welcome in Shabbat at 6 p.m. I hope to see you there.